Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So today I have for you 5 easy, budget-friendly sheet pan meals that come together really quickly on a busy night. So let me show you what I've made this week. I'm starting off with a family favorite. So for this one, I cut up a bunch of Brussels sprouts, I destemmed them and cleaned them up and cut them in half. And then I'm just going to spread them out on my sheet pan. Next, I have 2 small onions that I cut up, and I'm going to spread that along in my Brussels sprouts and just get them nicely mixed together. Next, I'm going to take a tablespoon or so of olive oil and just drizzle it all over my Brussels sprouts and onions. To season, I am using just some salt and some pepper. Once those are on, you can just mix together the onions and the Brussels sprouts and all of the oil and the salt just to make sure that it's evenly spread out. Next, I have a few sausages that I have cut up, and I'm just going to drop them in and spread them all throughout my Brussels sprouts and onions. This goes in the oven at 425 for 20 to 30 minutes or until the sausage is fully cooked through. This came out beautifully, the sausages browned up nicely, and I just added some rice to complete the meal. Next, I have another family favorite that is so easy to prepare. We are doing a nacho dish tonight. So I'm taking a bag of tortillas and I'm just spreading them all along the bottom of my sheet pan to make a nice base layer. Nachos are so versatile that you can use whatever ingredients that your family loves. For me, I am taking some onions here and spreading them all throughout my nacho dish. I will be doing 2 of these dishes, so I am not using everything that I have prepared in my bowls just on this one sheet pan. Next, I'm going to take some ground beef that I have previously fried up so it's nice and cooked, and I'm going to spread that all over the top of my nachos. Next, I'm going to take some mushrooms that I have cut up into small pieces. These are brown cremini mushrooms, and I'm going to spread that all over the top of my ground beef. Next, I'm going to take some black beans that I have drained and rinsed, and I'm going to spread some over the top, probably about a half a cupful. Now I'm just going to take some corn and add it all over the top of our nachos. I'm being careful not to add too many of one ingredient and to not overload my nachos, because then the bottom of my nachos will be more soggy than crispy. Now I'm just taking a homemade taco seasoning and I'm just spreading it all over everything. So in my taco seasoning, I have chili powder, garlic powder, paprika, and some cumin. Now I have some peppers that I'm going to add. These are green peppers that we grew in our garden this year, and I just froze up in chunks. So now I can just take them out whenever I want and put them in whichever dish I am making. My family also really loves olives, so we are going to be adding some black olives just to the top of this mixture. Finally, we are adding cheese. So I have shredded up some old cheddar cheese because that is what I had, but you can use any cheese, whatever you like, some mozzarella or a mix. Anything will work on this dish. This goes in the oven at 450 for 10 to 15 minutes or until things are nice and bubbly and brown. These nachos can get served with whatever condiments you like sour cream, salsa, or guacamole. They are absolutely delicious. Next, I'm putting together a chicken dish. So I am starting off by chopping up 2 yellow onions and spreading them all over my 2 sheet pans. Now I'm going to take my potatoes and cut them up into small cubes. If you have russet potatoes, they do take a little bit longer to cook, so you can either pre-cook these or just make sure that they're in small cubes. And I'll just spread these evenly all over my pans with the onions. Next, I'm taking a couple of zucchinis and chopping them up into discs and then halving the discs. Now, these do cook quickly, but they'll also caramelize when they're in there for a longer period, which is really tasty. So that's what we're going for in this dish. Now I'm just going to spread these evenly throughout my pan with the potatoes and the onions. I have some chicken breast chunks that I got from the store here, but you can also just cut up some chicken breast, or you can also use chicken thighs here. Both are delicious. But if you use chicken thighs, it will take a little longer for them to cook through thoroughly. So I'm just spreading my chicken over top all of my other ingredients and just evenly placing them throughout the pans. After that, I'm going to take a couple tablespoons of olive oil and drizzle it evenly throughout all of my ingredients. Now it's time to season my dish, so I'm just taking some salt and spreading it over top. I'm also taking some chicken and rib mix and just putting it all over the top of my chicken. Now I'm getting these in my oven at 400 for a half an hour or until the chicken is cooked and the potatoes are fork tender. This meal was absolutely delicious. The chicken came out nice and tender and the veggies cooked perfectly. Those zucchinis caramelized and it made them so tasty. Next, I am cooking up some steak fajitas. So I got this steak on clearance, so it's been sitting in my freezer for quite some time and I was looking for a reason to use it up, and this is perfect. So I'm just cutting it up against the grain into small strips. Any sort of steak can be used here, but my favorite is definitely the cheap steak that I get on clearance. Now I'm just going to take a small yellow onion and get it chopped up just into half moons. I'm going to spread the steak and the onions evenly over my sheet pans. Next, I have some peppers that I previously had chopped up and frozen, and now they are just so easy to pop onto my sheet pans. We love our mushrooms here, so I am just going to chop up a few white cremini mushrooms and get them on the pan with my other ingredients. Now I'm going to make my own taco seasoning. So together I am putting in some chili powder, some garlic powder, some cumin, and some paprika. So I'm going to take some olive oil now and spread it evenly throughout both of my pans. It's about a tablespoon per pan, but you can use less if you need to. Then I'm going to take my taco seasoning and also just spread it all over all of the ingredients. This goes in the oven at 425 for 20 to 30 minutes or until everything is cooked thoroughly. Once these are done, you put them in some wraps and season them as you like. Finally, I am preparing a pork chop dinner. So I am starting off with some sweet potatoes that I have cubed up into small pieces. I'm evenly putting them on my pans and then coating them with some olive oil, about a tablespoon per pan. Now I'm going to season with some salt and some pepper. When that's done, we're just going to mix them up so that the seasonings can get all over all of the potatoes. Then I'm just going to pre-cook these for 5 to 10 minutes on 400, just to soften them up because everything else cooks quickly. Next, I'm just going to push them back to make some room for our other ingredients. I'm going to grab some thinly sliced pork chops and get 3 placed on each of my sheet pans. I'm just taking some frozen vegetables, a mixture of broccoli, cauliflower, beans, and carrots, and I'm just going to put them at the end of my sheet pans here. You can use whatever vegetables that you like in this dish. Next, I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of olive oil and spread it evenly over my vegetables and my pork chops. I'm just putting it over the pork chops and vegetables, as the sweet potatoes have already been seasoned. Now I'm taking some salt and some pepper and spreading it evenly over both the pork chops and the vegetables. Next, I'm just going to spread the olive oil and the seasonings evenly over my pork chops. You could flip them over and do both sides if you want, but I will be flipping these mid-cooking time just to make sure that they cook evenly on both sides, and then both sides will be in the oil and the juices on the bottom. These go in the oven at 420 for 15 to 20 minutes or until the meat and potatoes are cooked thoroughly. This was an absolutely delicious dinner. If you are looking for more budget-friendly, easy meals, make sure you check out the playlist that I have linked right at the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.